Hey, spooky friends. Welcome to another episode of Pastatime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo.
I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz. And
Hello.
Today, we're here with another few creepy pastas to read to you folks. Hopefully you folks enjoy them. I enjoyed reading them prior to reading them to you, so.
Indeed. We're going to be covering 4 creepypastas, and if you don't know what those are, creepypastas are short fictional horror stories that can be found on the internet in places like the No Sleep subreddit, Creepypasta, the SCP Foundation, and even sometimes from our very own spooky friends who send us in their fictional horror stories. Robin, if someone had a story like that and wanted to send it, where could they send it?
You could send it to pastatime at scarish.com. You can also go to our website, scarish.com. There's a contact us page. You fill that out. Let us know you got a creepy pasta for us to read, and yeah, we'll get it that way.
Indeed. So we're going to be reading 4, like I mentioned, and I think I'm going to be going first this show, and this first one is called The Hole in the Wall. And I did pick this because it reminded me of Rick and Morty, where they watch Interdimensional Cable.
Okay.
And they have Saturday Night Live, and they have just a bunch of inanimate objects as actors randomly, and it's like, the hole in the wall where the men can see it all. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Starts out like this. I'm hoping at least you will enjoy this because it's probably fucked me up for life. It's seeming a lot more absurd as time passes, in parentheses 12 days since I moved my shit into my friend's place. So I want to get this out there and have people call bullshit and pass judgment because I think it'll make me feel better. I've moved out all my stuff. I've already called the cops and informed my absentee landlord. I've done all the proper things. There's nothing left to do but share my little fucked up city living story. So about 6 months ago, my girlfriend and I moved into an apartment in the Benton Park neighborhood of St. Louis. About 2 weeks after we moved in, her grandfather, who raised her, has a fucking stroke, and she ends up going home to Twin Oaks to take care of him. She was living with him full time until we can find out how to afford a nurse or hospice. Anyway, I'd been living in our 1-bedroom all alone for the last half a year. It's beautiful. Newly remodeled, double-pane windows, great insulation. Never heard someone describe their apartment's insulation before, but that's cool. Probably low heating bills or something. The best a couple of hicks turned yuppies could want. It's got a couple of weird things about it, as you'll see. There's only 4 units in the building, on the 2nd and 3rd floors. We're on the top floor. The first weird thing about the place we noticed right when we moved in. The walls and floors are paper thin.
Even the floors?
I could hear every word of my downstairs neighbor's conversation at all times. I used to have an apartment like that. It was awful.
So, like, even when they're, like, I don't know.
Boning?
Yeah.
Yup. Yeah, we shared those noises with each other. I heard this guy argue with his girlfriend all the time, and then he moved out, and the person that moved in after him, she just watched TV shows, but I could hear the TV show through the wall.
Okay.
And I could hear her ridiculous laugh at the stupidest shit all the time.
Okay.
So this is ringing true for me. It goes on. I know when they take a shower. I know when they fuck. And I'm sure they know the same about us. It's weird. The more info we had on each other, the less we wanted to actually know each other.
Okay. I can totally see that, though, where it's like, because you hear
I don't want to meet her. I've heard her moan weird things. Like, the more you get an insight into their daily lives. I wasn't thinking
about that, but it's like, I know the TV shows they like to watch. I know their movies they like to do, or they hate this, or they hate that, and I love that.
Or it's like, I don't want to meet them. They've heard the things I moan. You know? It's like more shame than it is embarrassment for them. So.
All right. I just figured personalities wouldn't match because you know what they're like.
That could be too.
Okay.
They moved out 6 weeks ago. Then the other 2 units went vacant a week later. It was kind of weird, but also kind of awesome. I could finally stomp around, watch porn, and play Rock Band at full volume.
Did you write this?
Obviously. About 4 weeks ago, it got weird. It was about 1 a.m. and I was going to bed, and I started to hear this noise from the empty apartment downstairs. Really quiet at first, but sustained. It sounded halfway between a hushed conversation with only one person talking and a small motor running. Just a babbling, not quite regular drone. Freaked me out at first, but I rationalized that it was some plumbing or the refrigerator downstairs. Something I'd never heard over my downstairs neighbors farting and snoring. I learned to live with it as it rose and fell every evening. Pretty soon, a steady tapping sound started with the mumbling. I know it sounds fucked up, but when you hear it every night for a while, you just make excuses for it. Then I kept hearing boards creaking. It's spring, my first in this building, so I assumed it was just old boards under the new drywall settling. Then one night, as I was brushing my teeth, there was a mighty dry thump right behind me. I just about stabbed myself with my toothbrush. I stayed really still till I was sure there wasn't anyone in the house and then turned on all the lights in the house. This is when I noticed the peculiarity in the remodeling. On the other side of the bedroom, when I heard the thump, is the hall closet. I opened it up and switched on the light, expecting a box to have fallen off the shelves, but it's all gravy inside. I hate that expression.
So it's just sopping gravy just oozing off
It's just fucking
the
gravy.
shelves.
It's like that scene in The Shining when the elevator doors open and all
It's
blood
just
comes
blood,
out.
yeah.
But it's fucking gravy and me standing there with a bunch of biscuits like, let's do it! Anyways, it's all gravy inside. I tap on the wall between the closet and the bathroom and it sounds oddly hollow. And I start to realize that the closet isn't as wide as I think it should be based on the bathroom. I pace it out with my feet and then a tape measure just to confirm. Sure enough, it's about 30 inches of space in between the two walls that I thought were adjacent. Again, rationalization time. Surely there's extra insulation. This guy and his fucking insulation. There's extra insulation there to keep the bathroom warm, or maybe the walls are thicker than I imagined because fuck, I've never built a house. So in this one thick wall, some huge fucking rat must have taken a tumble and freaked me out. No big deal. I felt a lot better at the time, even better when it was the first night in a while without the weird noise below me. So everything is fine until last Friday night. It's about 2 a.m. and I'm home late from the bar, not as drunk as I want, and remembering that left all my clean laundry in the dryer before I went out.
Do you choose, when you go out to the bar, you're like, I'm going to be XYZ amount of drunk?
No, I usually go out and I haven't done this in like 10 years, but if I was going out, I would be like, I'm not going to get that drunk. That's what I would say. Okay. Most of the times I'd be correct. If you're going out and you're like, I'm getting rip-roaring shit-faced tonight, then yeah, I would be disappointed if I came home and I was still pretty sober, so I understand the disappointment.
Okay, I lied. I was going to say I've never said that I was going to get fucked up, but I've said in my past that I was going to get fucked up, but then I never do. I just say that because as a joke, that you tell people like, oh, we're going to get fucked up, but you don't.
I've said it, and I've meant it.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to keep going. One thing sticks out as I climb the stairs. The door to the apartment below me is closed. It's been open since the neighbors vacated. I got kind of used to seeing an empty mirror image of my place every day when I walked past. Maybe the landlord was showing it to people today. Rationalize, rationalize, rationalize. I bag up a small load of laundry and climb down the back porch steps to the laundry room, which is really just a part of the garage. But the staircase is on the outside of the building and it gives each floor a little shared porch. I get down there and into the little room and I start bagging up all my clothes into this big black duffel bag. 2 things you should know about me at this point. I turn off every light when I leave a room, no matter what. My dad used to beat the shit out of me when the energy bill was a penny over the norm. And I also lock the door every time I go through it. Hell, I even locked the back door when I went down to get my laundry. I start back up the stairs and on the first flight I look up straight to my bedroom window and the light is on. And there's a silhouette against the closed blinds.
It's a go.
I pissed myself a little and every hair on my neck snapped to fucking attention. And then the light goes out. It happened in less than a second. 10 seconds later, I'm still frozen in place and trying to figure out if I just saw what I think I saw. Rationalization lost out, thank fucking God, and I snuck down the stairs and out through the garage. I called a cab and stood across the street from my building looking at my living room window. About 5 minutes before the cab showed up, the Venetian blinds parted slightly for a few seconds like someone was looking down on me. Then, nothing. I stayed at a hotel that weekend, and a couple of buddies of mine came back with me on Sunday to see how much stuff had been stolen. It was all there. My laptop was still charging, my brand new plasma TV. The doors were locked. I moved it all out that afternoon. While my friends were with me and I had the daylight on my side, I checked the apartment below me. The downstairs closet had the same abnormally thick wall. Only someone had hammered through this wall, a big, round, jagged hole exposing the tiny crawl space between. And in this space, flat against the wall, was a cheap hardware store ladder leading up through the darkness to the space between the walls in my apartment. I don't know how he got into my apartment from there, maybe through the heating vents in my ceiling. I really don't give a shit. All I care about is never seeing that building again. I mailed my keys to the landlord, told the whole thing to a terminally disinterested cop. Done my part, moving on. Quit my shitty job, which might be the one good thing about this. I'm typing this at a friend's house on his Wi-Fi. I was going to take this convenient time to get the fuck out of Dodge and move in with my girlfriend and her grandpa, but he died 2 nights ago.
What?
Still think I'd like to head back into the country, but I guess this is like a clean slate for us. I haven't told her yet, and I'm not sure if I will. Told her our landlord went apeshit and kicked me out. She's already got issues with security, and I don't want to add to them, but I don't ever want to live in an apartment or hear people moving beneath my feet or on the other side of a wall. Never again.
I could understand that. Like, there are so many stories of people living in walls or in attics and basements and stuff like that. I don't ever want to experience that.
My initial impression when I read this at first was that it was probably written around the time that person discovered the apartment behind their apartments. Mm-hmm. And it was like on TikTok, and it was like they saw like a hole in their, what do you call it? Their vanity mirror or whatever in their bathroom. And there's like a full apartment building behind them. But no, this was actually written in 2008. So this was a while ago, just letting everyone know that this has been a creepy thing that people have been scared of for a long time. And there's just been more validation of that fear in recent memory.
Since Candyman.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, so my next story here is a shorty, but a goodie. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Sure.
It's short and sweet.
There you go.
Okay, so this one's title is Intuitive Advertising.
Okay.
Message body. Intuitive ads. You see them everywhere now, and don't really give a second thought about it. Ads that use tracking cookies to track your browsing history or personal profile and provide suggestions that might appeal to you. This is all too real because...
And your microphone. Don't act like you're not listening to my conversation.
You know what my phone has started doing? I think it updated, and now anytime I use my camera or a microphone, it pops in the right upper hand corner a little green icon of what it's using, because I think people are freaking out about the fact that it's using a microphone constantly because it's tracking everything you say. Like, we will talk about something and a couple hours later I'm getting an ad about it.
We are always being listened to,
and it's terrifying. You know, the way Amazon suggests new books based on what you just read, or when you search for something on Google and then start seeing ads for it on other websites, or when you have a 20-something-year-old girl in a relationship on Facebook and suddenly all of your ads are for engagement rings and wedding planners. The point is, we're all so used to this that we don't really pay attention to it anymore. That is so true, because ads that I get now on the side of my Facebook or whatever, I'm just like...
I mean, I notice it still. I'm always just like, fucking Zuckerberg, always listening.
But lately, these targeted ads have been unnervingly on point. They're always unnervingly on point. All right. So these advertisements. One says, buy plastic sheeting in bulk. Or electric chainsaws on sale now. Or affordable dry lime, overnight shipping available.
That's pretty fucked up. It sounds like you're murdering someone.
I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what technology is driving these changes, but somehow it's like the internet is reading my mind, showing me ads for things that I couldn't possibly know I wanted. I swear to God, I didn't touch a keyboard. I didn't do a search. I was so careful to keep all of my plans and research and ideas offline. How is it doing this? How does it know about the bodies?
That's a good one.
That's really fucking good. This is written by T.L. Bodine.
Good job, T.L. Bodine. I like it.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the technology these days are just tracking every little thing that we all do. And it is absolutely terrifying. And I think that's the most terrifying part about this story, is not that it's about a murderer. It's about, like...
something...
that's so real, you know? They're tracking everything we do.
I would say the first 2 stories we've done are like, they're scary because they're based in reality.
Uh-huh.
So, pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Good short story, Robin.
Thanks.
It's like a flash fiction, a microfiction, if you will.
Small story, big impact.
So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back. All right, we're going to go ahead and move into the third story of the show, and this one's name is New City Village.
Seems like a lot of stuff going on.
City
and village don't make sense together. But
starts out like this. I used to live, this is based on a real place, so. I used to live in New Jersey in an old Victorian, right smack dab middle of the boonies. Where I lived, cell phones rarely got reception. Back a few decades ago, when I was a kid, a housing development went up. Big places. They cleared a few miles of the barrens for it. Is this World of Warcraft? Is this right below Orgrimmar? It was a stone's throw from my place. Once the places were finished, people moved in. City people, really. It was either old people or new families with real young kids. People that wanted to either wind their life down or start a new one up.
I'm going to interject here about Orgrimmar. You know, in World of Peacecraft, where Griffin McElroy kind of goes through the world without, like, weapons, and he
goes through without harming anything.
Yeah. And I was a lower level character, and I walked through a portion of Orgrimmar that was, like, high level, and I kept getting murdered over and over.
I mean, have you seen the part where he goes to Orgrimmar?
Oh my god.
He dies fucking constantly.
I gave up. My character still lives there.
Why would you go to Orgrimmar as a low-level character? Were you an alliance or were
no,
you Horde?
like I walked through an area that turned from like normal level area to a high level area. And I was like, I'll get through this.
You just didn't do corpse runs where you just go and get like to the very edge of the range, hit respawn, and then run as far as you can and die, and then just continuously ink your way?
Once I died like 6 times, I was like, fuck this.
I'm pretty sure Griffin died hundreds of times.
Yeah, and I don't know how he did it, man. The frustration was so real.
So I'm going to go ahead and get back to this story now. If you've never watched World of Peacecraft, it's a YouTube series. It's like 11 parts long, where Griffin McElroy from the Adventures of My Brother and Me decides that he's going to create a character that will not attack anything the entire time and sets like an amazing race set of goals where he has to go from point to point, and then it's just about how horrible it is to try and run around without hurting stuff in World of Warcraft. He's also super low levels. Okay, we are going to get back to this. So people that want to wind their life down or start up a new one. Nothing special. I knew a handful of the kids through elementary school, but none of them were exactly my age. They were normal. When people moved in, my mom made an effort to meet everyone, with us being so close and all. There was one guy that stuck out in my mind, mainly because he was bald, yet young. I know some people like that. Probably 38 at the oldest. I'm glad you called that young.
I was going to say, that's sweet.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I want to say, my mom said not to say anything because he might have a disease or something like that. I know bald people who are my age at 36 and they don't have a disease.
It's just fucking hereditary. God.
Is it male pattern baldness?
Yeah, like,
not I guess if you can consider it a disease,
that's
I don't know.
Up, dude.
Years went by.
Your mom is awful.
Years went by. I grew up and went into middle school.
Okay.
I came home one day. I had to walk because I missed all the buses. I went past the housing development. Glancing down the street, I didn't see anyone. Not a soul. It was around 5:20 according to my watch, if I remember right. Normally, all the fathers were getting home at 5-ish. Curiosity got me. I walked down the street to see what I could see. Give me one sec, y'all. I just realized that my computer's kind of chugging.
Yeah. Why is it chugging so hard?
Because I left Intro Fighters open.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm going to go ahead and also close that. Cool. So that might stop the fan. I don't think you guys can hear it, but it'll be a nightmare for me to edit out. All right. So got home. Father's getting home 5-ish. Every house was dark except for the bald man's. I glanced in his window and saw about the entire population of the small community sitting in his living room. Children, parents, the elderly, everyone.
Sounds like a church meeting or something.
Standing in the middle of everything, I think it should be everyone, was the bald man. It seemed as though it was just a casual meeting. People were talking and laughing. Whatever. I didn't know why the hell I cared anyways. I walked home and got grounded for being late and not calling from the school. Okay. That night, my mom got a call from another local neighbor saying that she was hearing unsettling grinding noises from the small community. My mom said that someone was probably getting work done. When she asked me if I had seen anything on the way home, I didn't answer, as I was still bitter that she had grounded me in the first place. Take that, Mom. The next day, every kid from that small neighborhood was marked absent in school.
That grinder is like one of those tree chippers, the wood chippers.
That's a lot of people to chip.
I mean, what is the grinding, you know?
And the day after that, as in they were marked absent again. The police went to investigate that night. The first thing they found was an ear on the front lawn of the bald man's house.
Yep, it got
a severed human ear.
Yeah, it's a human chipped ear off of the
child's
brain
arm was found
skull.
In a trash can dumped with a few empty pizza boxes, and a man's split open torso was located in the woods behind the property with human bite marks penetrating the flesh.
Maybe the bald head is like the place where he splits open and it's a mouth and he just...
Is the mouth with human teeth? Because they said that it was human bite marks.
Maybe.
The rest of the community was inside the house. All the entrances, both doors and windows, were boarded shut. When they broke down the door, they found the corpses of everyone, the entire development population. Children, parents, the elderly, everyone. Some were mutilated beyond initial recognition, and most were missing organs like livers and kidneys. Forensics show that the victims were alive when the organs were taken out.
Gross.
A child's body was also found in the oven of the house, burnt to the point where the skin melted. Gross. Unnecessary. Needless to say, what happened literally tore our community apart in multiple ways. Instead of the boogeyman, my friends and I had nightmares about something real, about a bald man. Horror movies didn't scare me because I knew they were fake. What happened was real, and that terrifies me to this day. The massacre occurred in 1984. 28 years ago from when the story was written. I'm 41 now. I went back to the site last month. The houses are still standing. All of them are abandoned. The single road that once connected the community to the outside world is long overgrown. I can't find any police files, nor can I find any news broadcasts about the murders. The houses are still there, but everything that had to do with the place seems to be gone. I could spend hours telling all the urban legends I've heard about it. Weird New Jersey posted a story about it in their book, I think. Nothing's conclusive. No newspapers, no files. I searched the records of some of the children from my school. They were never legally documented.
What?
But I know. And every other person that witnessed it and lived in West Milford County in 1984 knows. I cannot in any way express to you how much the events that I've described have literally ruined my life. If you doubt the reality of it, the only thing I can say is that you're wrong. This happened. This is not meant to be a creepypasta, and this is not an urban legend. The only reason I've posted it here is because I know that this is a community that will actually read what I'm writing. I'm not sure what I can say to make you believe, but a total of 37 people were murdered in the most brutal ways I can imagine. The place has a lot of names. It used to be called New City Village. Now it's called Demon's Alley. Look it up for yourself if you don't believe me. People need to know about this. For all it's worth, please share this. Written by Anonymous. It also has a link to the Wikipedia page for it and a Google search.
But I'm going to assume it's fake.
Here's the thing. The Wikipedia page is real, and it's just about the city.
But
I've looked up a bunch of the rumors about this place, and as of 2004, it was torn down. So when this was written, which was July 14th, 2012, it is a lie. Because the whole community that used to exist, it was owned by a corporation that set this place up. Once the corporation folded, people moved out. It was abandoned for 13 years, and then they just came in and tore it down. It was creepy because it was like an abandoned mini city, and they boarded up the windows and painted the boards black. So people assumed that meant there was crazy shit happening in those houses and that it wasn't really abandoned or that something awful happened. And this story is based off of one of the urban legends of some new person moved to town and murdered everyone.
Okay.
So, interesting story. I thought it was super cool. I like the fact that it tries to incorporate reality into it to really throw off the reader. But I did do a mild bit of research into what this place actually was, and it just seems like it was fairly normal. There were people that were there. Those people were documented, and those people just moved out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would assume actually happened. I like this creepypasta because it takes something that is tangible, that is real, that happened. This neighborhood, everyone cleared out of this one neighborhood, the buildings got demolished. And you're kind of playing off of that and making it seem like this isn't a creepypasta, and that's cool.
What makes it feel creepypasta still to me and not something that could actually be real is the fact that he states that it's still standing when 8 years prior to that it had been torn down.
Yeah.
If he would have just included the detail of they got rid of all the evidence, then I'd be like, is this real? Is this fake, or is that just what they want me to believe?
I was expecting it to be people moved back into the neighborhood and did this.
Oh, you thought it was just going to be something where he just perpetually eats everyone?
No. Where it's that happened once. And then, since then,
people live there still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actual abandoned place, good creepypasta. Solid stuff, Mr. Anonymous.
So my next story, final story of the episode, is titled The Red Wristband.
Okay.
Do you remember hearing about this at all? No. All right. When you're admitted to a hospital, I don't think this is true facts at all, but it says when you're admitted to a hospital, they place on your wrist a white wristband. Okay, that's true. When you're admitted to a hospital, they place on your wrist a white wristband with your name on it.
Your fucking slurring is so bad right now.
When you are admitted to a hospital, they place on your wrist a white wristband with your name on it. But there are other different colored wristbands which symbolize other things. The red wristbands are placed on dead people. That's not real.
Go
right?
ahead and ask our resident doctor in the chat to confirm or deny that. We'll get back to when we find out what the truth is.
It's not true. There's no way. They put a toe tag on you. There was one surgeon who worked on night shift in a school hospital. He had just finished an operation and was on his way down to the basement. He entered the elevator and there was just one other person there. He casually chatted with the woman while the elevator descended. When the elevator door opened, another woman was about to enter when the doctor slammed the close button and punched the button to the highest floor. Surprised, the woman reprimanded the doctor for being rude and asked why he did not let the other woman in. The doctor said, "That was the woman I just operated on. She died while I was doing the operation. Didn't you see the red wristband she was wearing?" The woman smiled and raised her arm. Something like this.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was just a nice, short, sweet story of, him talking to a ghost the whole time.
Ghost.
And then, the ghost of his patient wants to walk in and it's like, nah.
Ghost of the patient is definitely paranormal. Otherwise, I would have been like, she probably just stole a red wristband to fuck with him. So
I mean,
that's a prank I would play if that was true.
I think it's a ghost in the elevator with him too. But he never realized that because it wasn't the patient that he operated on. He had no idea who this woman was.
Right.
It's just a woman in the elevator.
The dead are apparently all coming back to life.
Well, when you get on the elevator with someone else, do you pay attention to their wrist? You look at them for 2 seconds and then turn around, like, don't make too much eye contact. It'll get real awkward. Yeah.
It's all right. It should have been a toe tag. She should have held up her foot and been like this. So,
hey, you want to check out my toes?
Right.
Some people are into that. You never know.
No, yuck, someone's young.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. All right. And that is everything that we have for this particular episode of Pastatime. Thank you so much for joining us, y'all.
Also, I just want to let everybody in California know we are going to be in Fresno this weekend for, Anime is the name of the convention. So if you folks are in the Fresno area, come and stop by.
All right. So that is everything we have for this episode of Pastatime. Thank you all for watching and or listening. We appreciate every single one of you. If you have a story that you would like us to read, or if you have a story of your own you'd like to send in, you can email pastatime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, click on Contact Us, and drop it in that form and just mention that it's a creepypasta in the subject. We would appreciate that. Or you can hit us up on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers that start at $1. At $1, you get ad-free. Ad-free is the way to be. If you're not into monthly donations, you can also go to coffeeko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations. All your donations go to helping us keep this show going. And we appreciate every single one of you that support us.
Indeed. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us. You guys are all amazing, and that is all we got. So, Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
I was going to say, I got more, but I don't. Have a good one. Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.